How to draw a picture. Start with a blank surface. Hello, all you good people. I'm the Lost Boy, and I hope today is treating you well. I also hope you'll enjoy watching a bit of Mario Odyssey, but today I'd like to take the conversation in a bit of a different direction and let you know a little about myself and my interests, including and beyond playing video games. By the way, Doom a Key is a great novel should you ever get the chance to read it. It's a stellar ghost story with all of Stephen King's ghastly goodness, but it's also a thoughtful and interesting commentary on art and its ability to heal. The line quoted above is the first line in the novel, and, in simple terms, the theme of what follows could be summed up as, "It's hard to begin." Consider the first step of a 5-mile walk, or even, as in King's Place, to set down the first sentence or two of the novel you want to write. I think the reason that this passage stuck with me is because over the years, I have learned the truth of, it's hard to begin. Whether it be the teacher calling on you to be the first to read your class report, your first day working at a new job, or even mustering up the courage to speak to a new crush for the first time, it can just be really, really hard. Some people can develop over time what could almost be viewed as a mental disability or a mental illness with regards to entering new situations. Some have social anxiety when dealing with unfamiliar people, and some may never pursue that career that they dream of. Some people are unable even to leave their own homes. These are extreme examples, of course, but it seems to me that nearly everyone is in some way daunted by the idea of trying something new or exposing an unfamiliar part of themselves to others. Recently, though, I have been experiencing some new and entirely different mental symptoms. My mind has become infected with the possibility that my thoughts and ideas are actually worth sending out into the world. It may sound crazy, but I've been noticing that most of what's circulating in the media and online is pandering, incredibly biased, and simply adding to the state of confusion and hostility that we all marinate in every day. Sure, there are a few calm and moderate voices trying to cut through all the nonsense, and perhaps the number of these is even growing. But these voices are still being drowned out by the rest of the noise. When I think about it like that, it starts to seem like staying silent is actually a dereliction of duty on my part, and on the part of all reasonable and compassionate people who fail to speak up for what they think is right. Also, we're all human, and therefore, each of us is totally wrong about a whole crap ton of stuff. So the other part of all of this is to listen to each other, to communicate as best we can, and to try to learn from each other and the world around us. The world really is a very confusing and disturbing place, so if you feel disturbed and confused a lot of the time, you're in good company. But there are more tools than ever for motivated people to connect and grow together. Plus, there's a bunch of really cool and fun stuff to discuss, because you can't be serious all the time. Everyone has something they're interested in, but some of us have so many interests, it can seem hard to choose how to spend your time. When I consider the spectrum of my interests, the kindest word that comes to mind would be eclectic. Less flattering terms might be scattered or schizophrenic. For the past 2 decades, I've spent most of my time the same way a lot of people do, specifically working at jobs that never particularly inspired or interested me. Don't get me wrong, I take pride in working hard and doing a job well, even if the work is boring or monotonous. But after a certain amount of time, it really does spur a person to want something more for themselves. Also, with each passing day, there is more amazing, cool, and interesting stuff nearly everywhere you look. Sure, there are tons of fake people, confusing information, and problems, and sometimes we need to address and discuss those issues. But there's just a crazy amount of really cool stuff here right now, a whole bunch more just around the corner, and even more than that on the horizon. I really just can't wait. YouTube is a fantastic website and has a positive democratizing effect on media and the internet. However, it is not super receptive to category-fluid persons such as myself. The upshot of this is that while my main focus will remain on gaming, I will absolutely be branching out into some divergent directions. Some of the areas I'm going to be looking at in my videos will be things that I've been interested in since I was a little kid. Things like comic books, some particularly memorable movies and TV shows, computers, video games, and all kinds of tech, and also genre fiction, such as sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. If all that sounds super nerdy to you, then look out, because those were the more normal kid-type interests, which would, in turn, lead to things that a lot of kids weren't necessarily interested in. These were things like an interest in science, physics, and the discovery of the natural world, computer programming and logic, politics, classic and modern literature, as well as philosophy, spirituality, and humankind's search for God. I know some of that may sound pretty dull to some of you, but I promise to try to keep things fun and interesting. And from what I've seen, the inhabitants of the YouTube nation may indeed show some small interest in topics like playing video games or discussing Game of Thrones. And hey, if you liked Game of Thrones, have you tried Westworld yet? God damn. Anyways, it may be hard to begin, but you only have to do it once, and then it's done. I've wanted to start making videos for a while, but things always seem nearly impossible when they exist only in your mind. For a lot of us anyways. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.